Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome. I am really excited. It's Concord 9th release day today and I'm showing off some of the products. So I'm just going to go through the new release very quickly with you here and I'm going to be using several of these products in my video. So here we have a city stack stamp. It comes with the skyline, houses, trees, as well as many really cool sentiments like in my imaginary neighborhood, you live right next door, we should hang out soon, I miss you, welcome. And you could of course cut out the skyline, the houses, the tree line, as well as some clouds using some dies here. And it also has a script die with the word welcome in it. The next stamp is a super fun stamp set if you like critters. So as you can see, this is the Furry Friends stamp set. It comes with this cool little leaf frame, as well as several animals such as a bear, fox, horse, and deer. And you can decorate them with various accessories. They also have solid stamps that you can stamp inside the stamps, so you don't have to do any coloring if you don't want to. It's completely up to you, which is what I love. And they have little party hats and a little cone for a unicorn, so you can turn that horse into a unicorn. And they have new baby, party animal, holidays, birthday, friend, all these little stamps here, sentiments. This is the Star Turnabout stamp for those of you who love turnabouts. I'm going to be linking to my turnabout video below in the video description if you've never seen them before. And it comes with a turnabout die as well. So it's all about lining up your stamp, putting an X on the back, and then you can stamp in various colors or different shades of embossing powder. It's completely up to you. This here is the Shine On stamp set. You have the Shine Bright On that comes in various shadows, so you can make them look really 3D. Let your light shine, and it's your time too. And this shine here is a 3D shine. It's very, very cool. So I'm going to show you how it stamps. First though, I wanted to show you that it comes with a solid die as well as the script shine die, a die to cut out the light bulb, and as well as this little sort of light shining, or it could be used as a sun as well if you were to die cut it twice. So very quickly I wanted to show you how that's stamped. So that's the stamp there. And then once you cut out the coordinating die that comes with it and you add some glue to it, you can add that to your card and it turns out to be like this. So a very cool 3D thing. Now we have some glitter paper in the house, so I have one here that is a free gift. So I'm going to take a wild guess that this is the free with $60 purchase this month. They have always a different product there for the $60 purchase. And then this one here has some neutral colors and they come with gold, white, silver, and black. And these are perfect for glitter paper for die cutting. So that's the end of the new release, and I'm going to get started on my card tutorial. So I started off with an A2 size card base. This measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm scoring it in the middle at 4.25, just like I would do if I were creating a side folding card or a top folding landscape card. I'm going to create 2 of these, and I'm going to reinforce them with my bone folder here. Now remember, I created 2 of these, and I have now these 2 cards that open up. So I'm actually going to glue one on top of the other because I want to create a tri-folding card. Now, if you have 12 by 12 paper at home, you can make some smaller measurements here and get them out of one sheet of paper without having to do this step. So I'm gluing one on top of the other so that I have a flap going off to the left and a flap going off to the right. I'm lining them up perfectly, and then I am pushing down on the Tombow Mono tape runner that I used to glue these. Now, so I can keep track, I'm just going to label these very quickly with front, middle, and inside, just so I know when I'm die cutting and stamping. Sometimes these can be a little bit complex when you're trying to think about it, so I want to make it as easy as possible. So I'm grabbing this city stack stamp set, and I'm going to start off with the houses. So this is my little neighborhood here. You could also do simply, instead of doing a folding card, you could also do a masked off card scene. It's up to you. I'm going to place this above here on my card because I want to be able to put a sentiment underneath. So I do want that to stay white. So I'm going to pick this up with my MISTI stamping tool and I'm going to ink it up using some black VersaFine black Onyx ink, and I'm going to stamp that onto the front of my card. So I'm just going to push down here, applying some even pressure on top of the stamping tool. And you can see it's all stamped out here. I'm going to grab the coordinating die now, and I'm just going to place it over top and secure it in place with some purple tape so that when I put it through my die cutting machine, I'm good to go. So you can see I have my Big Shot die cutting machine. I grabbed some brand new plates so it's easy to see, and I'm going to put this through my die cutting machine, but I'm going to stop at where my card fold is. I don't really want to cut the inside of my card. So it's just a bit of trial and error. Just put it through as far as you can, and then you can flip it over and check to see if it die cut all the way through or not. You can see for me this time it didn't. I found that it was a really big pressure when I got to that cut because the cardstock that I use is double on that inside. All of a sudden it got really hard to turn, and that's where I knew to stop turning the Big Shot. So something like an electric die cutting machine wouldn't be great for this technique. So now when I take off my card, you can see that it has die cut these houses off, and all I need to do now is just trim off this area. So just grabbing my trimmer, lining it up with the side of the card here, and just getting rid of that excess little bit. And now I have my first fold all finished. So now I'm going to open up my card, and I'm going to add my second layer. Now I thought I was going to add the trees, but I decided to skip directly to the skyline. You can also see that I used the houses to help me line it up, so I knew exactly how high to stamp the skyline as well. So once again, grabbing some black VersaFine ink, I am going to stamp the skyline here onto the second panel, so the middle of my card, so to say. I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did with the front. I'm going to line up the die cut for the skyline. I'm going to run it through my Big Shot machine, and once again, where you feel a lot of pressure when you're turning, that's going to be exactly where you want to stop it. So once again, when I remove the die cut, I now have to just trim off the top of it, or the sky, so to say. And this one here has a little bit more of a flap. You have to cut directly down there to the bottom. And I'm just going to fold it over. You can see where it is I need to cut. I'm going to run it through my trimmer here, and I'm ready to go with my second panel. So as you can see, if you just follow step by step along with me, this card isn't very complicated. It's pretty easy to create. It just is a few steps here. But generally, if you can fold a card base and run things through a die cutting machine, you should be good to go. Now for the night sky, as you can see, I've turned the cities to be behind my card so that I can work on the very inside of the panel. If you've never seen a Turnabout stamp before, I'm going to link to a video over on the side. I've done several of these videos, so I know the people that follow my channel have probably seen this before, so I don't want to be too repetitive. And for those of you who haven't, you can go ahead and check them out to see how they work. They're very cool. And I like these stars because I feel like if you didn't have proper alignment, it wouldn't be a big deal. So I'm going in with some VersaMark ink, and I'm going to stamp the stars onto the background. Now if I were to do this card over again, I wouldn't stamp the stars at the very bottom of the panel. You'll notice when it's all finished, I have two stars that are kind of in the way of my sentiment, so just keep that in mind. You might want to put some masking tape on the bottom to mask off an area at the bottom. I'm grabbing now a piece of computer paper, and I am using some embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and this is sterling, I believe it's called, and I just got these in the mail. I'm really excited to test them out, and I'm just going to flick off any excess embossing powder, and you can see I have all those stars on there, and any other embossing powder that needs to be removed I can remove with a dry brush. You can see where my fingerprints had some embossing powder stuck to them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my card and this panel here 90 degrees, and I'm going to stamp once again using the panel. This is why they're called turnabouts. So if you were to be stamping these with ink instead of embossing like I am, you could be stamping in 4 different colors to create a whole big star scene. You can't do this if all the stamps are just on one plain stamp like a background stamp, because then you would have a really big issue trying to use different colors. So that's why these Turnabout stamps are really useful and really, really cool. There's a whole line of them, and pretty much one comes out monthly at least. Next up, I'm using some Icicle embossing powder, and I'm going to have white stars this time. And I'm going to do it one more time with some gold embossing powder. So I'm just going to go ahead now and turn my Turnabout stamp 90 degrees, stamp, and add some gold. So you can just see I skipped over the stamping part there just to save some time. So now I'm going to go in and just heat up that embossing powder to melt the night sky. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to add a little bit of distress ink on here. So I've now opened up my card. You can see my star background here. I'm grabbing some purple tape to mask off the areas. So I'm just masking off my inside panels here. I don't need to get any ink on them. And I'm also going to mask off an area at the bottom of the card so I have a place to put my sentiment. So now I'm going in with some Distress Oxide inks with a blending tool. I am using Salty Ocean to start, and then I went in with a darker color called Blueprint Sketch. You can also see I used some purple tape here on my fingertips to protect my fingers so they don't get too inky and I get ink everywhere. And I'm going in with some black soot now just to darken up the night sky. Again, I always go back and forth between the colors to just get a really nice, consistent blend. You can see that I have a beautiful night sky now that's all finished. And I just thought it needed just a little bit more. So I went ahead, wiped off with paper towel just to get any of that ink off of the embossed areas of the stars. And I went in with a white gel pen to fill in any of the gaps. I think this really just makes the card really stand out. Now I'm just going to go in and stamp my sentiments. So I'm starting in the very front. In my imaginary neighborhood, you live right next door. And then when you open up to the middle panel, I'm going to have the I miss you. I feel like I send a lot of these cards. I have a few friends overseas that I miss living in the same city as them and just being around them. So it's nice to let them know that I'm thinking about them still. And then in the very center of the inside of the card here, I have a bit of a longer sentiment. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. And then when you close it all up, you have your little city in white in that really colorful background. So I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial. It's something a little bit different. I don't do very many interactive cards. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed it or if you wanted me to stick to my regular stuff. And I'm looking forward to hearing your comments. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to check out the new Concord 9th release. It's absolutely fabulous. I have a suggested video below as well as a subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, I will see you in a couple of days for another video. Bye!